Hi guys, thanks so much for tuning in again with me today. I actually just recorded my How to Be a Good Wedding Guest video, and during that video an idea popped up into my head. I said before that I couldn't really think of a vlog for today because today is Monday, and then right in the middle of that video I had an idea, so I thought I'd just go ahead and record it and then post it later in the week. So, or I might post it beforehand, I don't know, we'll see. But the idea completely has to do with the B word, and the B word being Bridezilla. I really hate this word. I really do. I think it's really hurtful and offensive when a bride is called a Bridezilla, and I really wish that this word would just completely disappear from vocabulary. I can understand if you have a bride, though, that is really difficult to work with, who is very demanding, who treats their vendors like poo, who just really makes outlandish requests, who often lies and said they requested one thing when they really didn't and it was their fault. You know, brides that act like their wedding party and their parents are the slaves for a year before the wedding. I can understand that, obviously. But generally speaking, if a person is like that on their wedding day, it means that they're like that every day. It doesn't necessarily mean that just because they're getting married, they're suddenly this horrible person who is treating their family members and wedding party horribly. It's usually because that's the kind of person that they are. And I feel like I can say that because I've never worked with a Bridezilla. I've always worked with brides and grooms who have been extremely appreciative, who have really wanted to make the day just as much about their wedding party and parents as it is about them. They really go out of their way to make their guests feel comfortable. They think of really cool and fun ideas to make sure that their guests have a really good time and feel appreciated for coming to their wedding. So I guess that's why when it comes to the B word, I really don't like it, just because I really haven't witnessed that yet. Although I guess I'm trying to put myself in someone else's shoes where they are dealing with someone like that. And I guess in that case, the word Bridezilla, because I don't like the word, I put it in air quotes, is suitable. But like I said, I don't really think it's wedding specific. I think if someone is getting married and that they're acting like that, it's really because they're just like that in everyday life. So I totally blame the We channel or the Oxygen channel or whatever network originated that stupid show. And I really hate to admit this, but I used to watch that show. I watched season 1, and then my husband and I would watch it on TV, like the next couple of seasons. And it was kind of entertaining. We just kind of watched it because it was an entertaining show. You didn't have to think about it. And I was really obsessed with weddings. And I was just like, oh, it's a wedding show, whatever. And there were some funny things in it. But you have to keep in mind as well that those people, they got money. They got compensated to be on that show. They were probably directed to act ridiculous most of the time. And if they weren't directed to act ridiculous and they were still acting like that, chances are they're just horrible people in real life. And I hate saying that because I really like to find the good in everyone, but I don't know. It's just not cool in my book. So I totally blame the network for that stupid phrase. I hate the word Bridezilla, like I keep saying. I feel like a broken record, but it's true. And I'm going to just go ahead and talk about why I hate it. Okay, so if there's a bride out there who's getting married and she seems like a Bridezilla because she wants what she wants her dress a certain way, she wants her flowers a certain way, it's not because she's a Bridezilla, it's because she's shelling out quite a bit of money usually, and she just wants things how she wants them because she's paying for them. If you go out to a restaurant and you order a steak and you order it medium and it comes back completely rare, you're gonna send it back because that's not what you ordered. And if you're at a steakhouse, you're paying quite a bit of money for your steak. Now, I'm not saying that you're gonna send it back and like, this is horrible, this is not what I ordered. You'd be really nice about it. Usually if something goes wrong and they request changes, they are really nice about it and they understand that everyone's human, everyone makes mistakes, including myself, and that you shouldn't, you know, put people down because of it. Most of my clients, like I said previously, have always kept in mind that their family members and their wedding party are celebrating with them on their wedding day. So they're not necessarily slaves by any means. They're there to offer help. You know, the wedding party, it's not their job to wait on you hand and foot for the months leading up to your wedding. And most people get that. They don't ever just assume that maid of honor has to be there every second of wedding planning. They have to be there to assemble favors, fold invitations, print out programs. It's not their job. Their job is to just support you emotionally and just be there for you. And most of my clients know that, I think, anyway. I've never really had a problem with any of my couples' wedding party being like, oh my god, they were so horrible to work with. I'm so glad the wedding is over so they'll go back to normal. It just seems to me that these days couples will have the perspective that if my family or wedding party wants to help out, they'll offer, and if not, it's not a big deal. That's definitely the way we were anyway. We didn't really want my bridesmaids or his groomsmen/groomswoman to feel obligated to help, because it's our wedding, it's our responsibility, we were the ones paying for it. We just wanted people to be excited about it. That was really all that we really wanted, and that happened. So, you know, people who did help us out with the wedding volunteered. We didn't ask anyone for help, which I thought just made everyone very happy in the end. I think that's mostly why I was not referred to as a bridezilla, which I was really excited about. For some reason, most of my family members were telling me throughout the wedding planning process that they thought I would be a huge bridezilla, which honestly kind of hurt my feelings, because then to me that's saying, well, once she starts planning her wedding, she's not going to care about anyone else or what we think or what our feelings are, which to me I think is just the definition of a bridezilla. And I don't know, that really hurt my feelings, because I was like, well, of course I'm going to care what people think. And I really went out of my way to make sure that people were comfortable. I really just gave my bridesmaids a lot of freedom on what dresses to wear and stuff like that. And in the end, they told me that I was not a bridezilla. So that was good. I was really relieved to hear that. But yeah, so I mean, as soon as you say, well, you're acting like a bridezilla, or so-and-so is a bridezilla, even if you don't say it directly to them, it gets around, and it really can be hurtful. And wedding planning processes they're really stressful and emotional to begin with, so if they hear that they're a bridezilla, according to somebody else, someone else said that about them behind their back, or what have you, and it gets back to them, it's really going to be extra hurtful, just because wedding planning is such an emotional time anyway. So if at all possible, don't use that term. You know, I mean, I know that it's hard, and just try to put yourself in their shoes as well. If you feel like for some reason they're getting overly consumed with the wedding planning process, if you're in the wedding party, you're obviously close enough to the bride and groom to just simply say something like, you know, we've noticed that you've been talking a lot about the wedding. Like, is there anything that we can help you with? Are you overly stressed? Like, how can we help alleviate the stress? That, just saying that will go so far in making the bride or groom feel so much better, and chances are that will calm their nerves a lot and just make them feel a lot less stressed. And going along with that, like I said, weddings are a very emotional experience. So if a bride has a breakdown and she's getting really stressed out and she's complaining a lot or talking a lot about the wedding, that doesn't necessarily mean that she's freaking out because one of the flowers is wrong, or because she couldn't get the exact linen color that she wanted. It's not necessarily she's freaking out about one stupid little meaningless detail. It's probably the accumulation of a bunch of other things that have not necessarily gone right, or just things that she's thinking about emotionally that are affecting her. Maybe a guest won't be able to attend that she really wanted there for a stupid reason, or something else going on with the family. So yeah, it's usually just an accumulation of a lot of things that are going on, and I think that people are often like, oh, why is she complaining about a stupid table linen color? It's usually not the reason that she's crying or being upset or stressed out. Like I said, it's usually just because a lot of other things haven't been going right, and it's just kind of her breaking point. So in that situation, don't go calling her a bridezilla. That's just going to add more fuel to the fire. Like I said, the best thing you can do is inquire about why she's so stressed out, see if there's anything that you can do to help her, and just let her vent at that particular point. You might be sick of hearing about the wedding, but just keep in mind that if the tables are ever turned, you're going to be in that situation as well, and the last thing that you're going to want is for someone to call you a bridezilla and just walk away and say, she's just so difficult and so dramatic. It's really the last thing that she wants to hear. And it's the last thing that's actually going to make her feel better, especially if you know deep down that she's a really good friend and wouldn't normally react this way. Obviously something is going wrong. So there are other ways to prevent your bride or groom from being a bridezilla or a groomzilla or whatever. That doesn't necessarily have to be a put down. I don't think a lot of people realize how hurtful the term bridezilla can be, I guess. So going back to my original thought, I think it's so easy for people to be like, oh, she's a bridezilla, because it's such a common word in the wedding industry these days. And I really wish it would just disappear completely, just because, like I said, I think it's so hurtful and people just don't realize that it really can be very hurtful. But it's kind of the same thing in life. Like a wedding day is a huge investment. There's a lot of money that goes into it and a lot of time as well. I kind of equate it to buying a house a little bit, or a car. So let's say you buy a house and you're house shopping and you're looking around and you're like, well, this kitchen isn't like the dimensions that I wanted, or the bedroom isn't big enough, or the bathroom situation isn't exactly what I wanted. Would you be called picky, or would you just be called a smart home buyer? To me, you're just a smart home buyer. You don't want to spend tons and tons of money, thousands and thousands of dollars on something that isn't really what you wanted anyway. So I guess that's kind of why I don't really believe in Bridezillas, unless they're going around being really hurtful to a lot of people. They're just two people that are spending a lot of money, who want to be very smart about it, and they just want things the way they want them, and I don't see anything wrong with that. So I'm going to end my ramble there. I don't want this to be a super long video. I hope that it wasn't too disorganized. Again, I'm considering this my vlog, so it really is just me talking and thinking out loud. So anyway, I hope that changes some perspectives out there for people who are involved with weddings, who feel like they're not being treated that well. There are other ways to get around having your bride and groom be really stressed out, rather than just saying, oh, they're such a bridezilla, I'm not doing anything about it. So anywho, I hope it gives you guys some things to think about, and if there are any brides and grooms out there who are watching this video, I hope it makes you feel better knowing that most wedding planners know that you're not being a bridezilla. You're just being smart about the way you're spending your money. So yeah, that's it. I'll leave you guys with that. I hope that you have a fabulous week. I'm hoping to make more videos this week and kind of catch up on that and post them. So keep an eye out for that, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!